artificial intelligence. I mean, it's everywhere, isn't it? It's the buzzword dominating, well, everything. Boardrooms, tech headlines. It promises to completely reshape how we work, how we live, how we interact.
Absolutely. And you see companies pouring billions into AI investments. Everyone's rushing to catch this wave of innovation.
And look, a lot of that excitement is genuinely deserved, I think. The potential is incredible. But underneath all that gleaming surface, there's this significant, often overlooked reality, a kind of darker side to this super rapid adoption.
And that's really the core problem we want to dive into today. Our sources, they're revealing a surprising and honestly pretty alarming gap between what companies expect their AI security to be and the stark reality of their current defenses.
Right.
And this isn't about, fear-mongering. It's really about providing a clear-eyed, data-backed view of what's actually happening out there.
So our mission for this deep dive is pretty clear. We're going to try and unpack why companies seem so vulnerable right now, what specific threats are really lurking in the shadows with AI, and maybe most importantly, what practical steps, you can actually take to navigate this whole complex landscape more safely. We're pulling insights from recent Accenture surveys, quite comprehensive ones actually, plus perspectives from a range of cybersecurity experts and analyses of these emerging AI threats that are, well, they're already making waves. Okay, so let's unpack this then. Accenture did the survey, right? Over 2,200 security and tech execs. These are big companies, over $1 billion in annual revenue.
Yeah, large enterprises.
And they found this really surprising contradiction. You have this massive number, 86% of executives saying they plan to significantly ramp up AI investment this year.
Huge investment.
But their security capabilities, just not keeping pace at all. It's almost like, I don't know, buying a supercar and forgetting to upgrade the brakes.
Yeah, that's a perfect analogy, actually. And the numbers, they really back it up. Get this. 36% of those executives openly admitted AI is already outpacing their security.
Wow, over a third.
Yeah. And maybe even more startling, only 1 in 5, just 20%, feel truly confident they can secure their generative AI models against cyber risks.
Only 1 in 5.
That's it. But here's the really critical insight from Accenture's analysis. They estimate, after looking at the practices, that a staggering 90% of these large organizations actually lack the security standards needed right now.
90%.
90% lack what's needed for present-day AI threats. And that chasm, as they call it, it matters hugely because if you don't even know the specific AI threats you're facing,
You can't defend against them.
you simply cannot defend effectively. It's impossible.
And it's not like this is a stable target either. You mentioned the pace earlier. The nature of AI security is evolving so fast that security execs are finding they need to revise their AI playbooks like every 6 weeks.
Every 6 weeks. Imagine that update cycle.
It just hammers home how incredibly quickly this field is changing. But, okay, beyond the numbers, what does that feel like for these companies, for these executives? Is it denial? Are they just sort of blind to how these threats actually work?
I think it's less outright denial and more of a dangerous assumption. And this leads us right into what some are calling the AI illusion.
The AI illusion.
Yeah, the dangerously naive idea that AI is just another piece of software, just another tool in the box.
Okay.
So companies are, slapping AI onto customer service pages, using it for maybe drafting legal advice summaries, seeing those immediate cost savings, the efficiency gains.
So they think, great, job done.
Exactly. But then disaster strikes.
Yeah.
Picture this. A company's AI chatbot just goes completely rogue, starts spewing bizarre, maybe offensive, or just plain wrong answers.
Oh, wow.
Or maybe it hallucinates legal advice that gets the company sued. Or even worse, it starts leaking confidential company data.
Right.
Or maybe it starts discriminating against certain customers based on patterns it learned.
And nobody notices immediately.
Right. All without anyone noticing until it's way too late. By the time the company realizes, their reputation is shredded. Lawsuits are piling up, customers might have fled. And the critical point, the really scary part is, nobody saw it coming.
Because they were looking at the shiny potential, not the hidden risk.
Precisely. They were focused on the upside, completely missing the vulnerabilities lurking just beneath the surface.
Which I guess naturally leads us to this concept some cybersecurity experts are calling the silent AI killers. These sound ominous. What makes them silent?
Well, it's not just their stealth, though that's part of it. It's their nature. They exploit our very human tendency to trust automation, sometimes blindly.
Okay.
And they compound in ways that traditional security measures, the ones we're used to, they just aren't designed to catch. not until the damage is already catastrophic.
So it's more systemic, not just a technical bug.
Exactly. It's a systemic vulnerability. Okay, so the first of these silent killers is what we can call the black box problem.
The black box. Right, I've heard this term.
AI, especially complex models, often makes decisions in ways that, frankly, even its creators don't fully understand. It's not like a person who can walk you through their reasoning.
No step-by-step logic trail.
None. So imagine an AI system rejecting someone's loan application. Or worse, making a decision to fire an employee. Or maybe recommending a dangerous product. When regulators, or even the person affected, asks why that specific decision was made,
The company might just shrug.
they might have absolutely no way to explain it. And the key insight here isn't just, oh, we can't explain it. It forces a huge paradigm shift. Accountability now hinges not just on what happened, but on how you engineered the system from the start to prevent these kinds of unexplainable, potentially harmful outcomes.
Especially when regulators come knocking, asking for that explanation.
Exactly. And this ties directly into that broader risk people talk about, the lack of explainability.
Okay, so that's the black box. What's next? Then there's what you called the copy-paste catastrophe. Sounds messy.
It can be very messy.
We know AI models are trained on these absolutely vast data sets, right? Often just scraped indiscriminately from the internet.
Everything and anything.
So that can unwittingly pull in copyrighted material, maybe private information, even a competitor's confidential secrets.
It absolutely can. But it's not always about, outright theft of huge chunks of intellectual property.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's much more subtle.
How so?
Imagine a company's AI generating a response to a customer query. And maybe buried in that response is a subtle copyrighted phrase taken directly from a competitor's terms of service.
Ah, something small nobody would normally notice.
Right? Or maybe an internal memo generated by AI inadvertently pulls in confidential details from some training document it wasn't supposed to have access to or wasn't supposed to use in that context.
And the consequence?
Companies are getting sued right now because their AI unknowingly plagiarized content or leaked confidential info. And the painful truth is, the law often isn't on their side when this happens. It can be incredibly subtle data leakage, but the legal ramifications are very real.
Wow. Okay, copy-paste catastrophe. Got it. Killer number 3. Next up, we have the invisible bias bomb. This one feels, particularly significant.
It really is.
Because AI doesn't just learn from the data, right? It learns the human biases that are already baked into that data.
Exactly. And the insidious part is, you won't know it's happening until it's potentially too late. The AI is just reflecting, often amplifying, the biases it was shown.
So give us some examples.
Okay, think about a hiring AI. If it's trained on historical recruitment data where maybe men were predominantly hired for certain roles,
It learns that pattern.
it learns that pattern and starts consistently favoring male candidates, even if unconsciously, or a loan approval AI. If it's trained on historical loan data reflecting past socioeconomic disparities, it might inadvertently discriminate against certain zip codes, rejecting applicants from low-income neighborhoods, say, regardless of their individual creditworthiness, just because the pattern was in the data.
Even if that pattern was due to historical redlining or other biases?
Precisely. Or think about healthcare. A diagnostic AI might fail to recognize symptoms in women or minorities if its training data predominantly featured, say, young white men.
Which could lead to misdiagnosis.
Potentially serious misdiagnosis. And the scary part, as I said, is you often won't know what's happening until the damage is done, until you're facing a class action lawsuit or a massive public relations crisis because your AI was found to be biased. Ethical responsibility is huge here.
Okay, the invisible bias bomb. And the last of the 4 silent killers. Finally, we arrive at what you termed the AI dependency trap. We're definitely seeing this trend, companies replacing human roles, customer service reps, content writers, data analysts with AI. Because, the argument is always AI can do it cheaper.
Right. The cost saving is often the primary driver. But this raises a really critical question. What happens when the AI fails?
Okay.
Because it will fail sometimes, or it'll give wrong outputs, or it'll go offline. And suddenly the human skills needed to actually perform those tasks, they've atrophied. People haven't been doing them.
The institutional knowledge is gone.
Exactly. Human judgment disappears from the equation. And often there's no real backup plan. So when disaster strikes, maybe a major system outage or a critical error in the AI's logic, the company is left with this gaping hole where essential capabilities used to be.
Yeah, I can see that.
So the insight here, I think, is that AI isn't just a cost-cutting tool. It should be viewed more like a strategic partnership. And like any partnership, you need a robust, well, maybe a prenuptial agreement and definitely a backup plan for when it inevitably falls short or messes up.
That makes sense. So those are the 4 silent killers, but that's not the whole picture, is it? There are other risks.
No, definitely not. Beyond those sort of insidious silent killers, it's really crucial we broaden the discussion. We need to look at the full landscape of AI security risks, the ones that threat actors are actively exploiting right now.
Okay, what else should we be aware of?
Well, first, there are adversarial attacks. This is where attackers make subtle, often imperceptible tweaks to the input data to deliberately fool the AI.
Like changing a few pixels in an image.
Exactly. Adding almost invisible noise to an image might make a facial recognition system completely misidentify someone, for instance. Then there's data poisoning. This is arguably more sinister. Attackers corrupt the training data itself.
Ah, so it learns the wrong things from the start.
Precisely. To make the model behave maliciously or just inaccurately later on, it's like poisoning the well. We also have things like inference attacks and model inversion attacks. These are clever techniques where attackers use strategic queries.
Asking the AI specific questions.
Right. To try and deduce or even reconstruct sensitive information about individuals or the data sets used to train the AI just from its outputs.
Extracting secrets indirectly.
Exactly. And sometimes the AI model itself is the target. That's model theft. Bad actors might hack in or use reverse engineering techniques to steal the valuable AI model, the intellectual property.
Okay, that's a direct hit.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Another huge concern, especially in large organizations, is shadow AI.
Shadow AI.
Yeah, this is the widespread use of unsanctioned AI tools by employees. People using free online AI tools for work tasks without approval.
Like pasting company data into ChatGPT.
Exactly that. Research shows something like 15% of employees are doing this, pasting company data into tools like ChatGPT. And maybe a quarter of that data is actually classified as sensitive by the company. It completely bypasses all the security controls, a huge risk.
Wow, that's quite a stat.
It is. Then, of course, you have deepfakes and AI-powered social engineering. Generative AI makes creating incredibly convincing fake videos, audio, and text personas much easier and scalable,
Making phishing attacks way more sophisticated.
drastically increasing the scale and sophistication to phishing, manipulation attempts, disinformation campaigns. It's a game changer for social engineering. And related to some earlier points, there's the ongoing risk of just general data leakage and privacy violations. Sensitive data being inadvertently exposed by the model's output or its behavior, or maybe the system collects or processes sensitive data without sufficient security or proper user consent. Big privacy implications.
Right.
And finally, let's not forget code vulnerabilities. AI can generate code very quickly now, which developers love for productivity.
But is the code secure?
Well, that's the issue. It can introduce subtle weaknesses or fail to account for important contextual security nuances that a human developer might catch. So, AI-generated code needs rigorous checking.
Okay, so black box, copy-paste, bias bomb, dependency trap, adversarial attacks, data poisoning, inference, model theft, shadow AI, deepfakes, data leakage, code vulnerabilities. That's it.
It's a dizzying array of threats, isn't it?
It really is. Each one capable of undermining trust, stealing data, causing real harm in unique ways. It sounds almost overwhelming.
It can feel that way, but, and this is important, the good news is that this isn't a lost cause. We're not doomed here.
Okay, good.
But companies absolutely need to stop pretending AI is just another software tool they can plug in and forget about. It's fundamentally different.
It's a powerful, unpredictable force, as you said. And that seems to be precisely what these smart companies, the ones ahead of the curve, are doing, right? They're tackling this differently.
That's what the research suggests. They're engaging in really rigorous testing of AI before it gets rolled out widely. And not just testing for accuracy, like does it get the right answer, but testing specifically for bias, for safety issues, for potential legal risks.
Looking for those silent killers proactively.
Yes. They're also deliberately keeping humans in the loop, especially for critical decisions, avoiding fully autonomous systems where nuanced judgment is required.
So not letting the AI make the final call on firing someone, perhaps.
Probably a very wise move. And perhaps most importantly, they are proactively preparing for disasters. They accept that the AI will mess up at some point.
It's not a matter of if, but when and how bad.
Exactly. So they build resilience and response plans around that assumption.
Okay, so what does that proactive approach actually look like? What are the concrete security measures, the best practices people should be thinking about?
Well, Accenture, for instance, strongly recommends developing a robust security governance framework, specifically tailored for AI, something to handle potential data leaks, privacy concerns from the outset.
Governance first. Makes sense.
Then, investing in AI-driven cybersecurity tools themselves, using AI to fight AI threats, essentially, to automate detection, response, and proactively defend against attacks.
Okay.
It's also vital, absolutely vital, to implement robust data security and risk management specifically for the data used to train AI and the data fed into it. Thinking about data integrity, confidentiality, minimizing how long you retain sensitive data used in AI processes,
Cleaning up the data pipeline.
and securing it. Applying strong encryption and access controls to the AI training data, to the large language models, the LLMs themselves, and also to their output.
Locking it down at every stage.
Right. Furthermore, companies need to integrate AI usage properly into their overarching security frameworks, their policies, their reporting structures. This is about AI governance and compliance becoming mainstream, not an afterthought.
Not just a separate AI project.
Definitely not. Companies also really need to establish and document their stance on critical ethical issues. Data bias, equality, transparency, accountability in their AI systems. This is core AI ethics and governance.
Being explicit about their values and how AI fits.
Yes. And then audit. Systematic compliance and security audits on all AI tools and datasets are non-negotiable. You have to check. Also, integrating any processes involving sensitive data and AI tools directly into the organization's main incident response strategy, and setting up regular monitoring for anomalies.
So if the chatbot does go rogue, the standard incident response kicks in.
It should. And finally, maybe most fundamentally, establishing a culture of AI security awareness, training all employees, not just the tech teams, on the risks and safe practices.
Everyone needs to be aware of shadow AI, for example.
Absolutely. That's a perfect example of why broad awareness is key.
You know, it's fascinating, though. You mentioned using AI for cybersecurity. AI can actually play a role in its own security, can it?
It really can, and that's one of the more exciting developments. AI-enabled tools can genuinely help identify and mitigate many of these risks, turning the technology into part of the solution.
How does that work in practice?
Well, we're talking about using AI-powered vulnerability scanning solutions, for instance, or tools like static application security testing, often called SAST. Modern SaaS tools can detect vulnerable code patterns in real time, even scanning code that was itself generated by AI.
Finding flaws in AI-written code.
Exactly. There are tools out there like SnecCode, for example, which is powered by an AI called DeepCode AI. It scans for vulnerabilities across loads of different programming languages. It helps developers boost productivity by using AI code generation, but critically, it also helps secure that AI-generated code simultaneously.
So it's almost like the AI can help debug and secure itself, or at least the code it produces.
In a way, yes, it's using AI intelligence to find weaknesses that might otherwise be missed, whether human-written or AI-generated. It's a really promising area.
Okay, so wrapping this all up then, what does this all mean for you listening to this? It seems clear that while AI offers these immense benefits and it's rapidly transforming industries, there's this danger zone. This accelerated adoption without equally accelerated adaptive security measures is creating a pretty risky environment.
That sums it up well.
So the key takeaway, I think, for all of us, whether you're, leading a company, working with AI, or just trying to stay informed, is the absolute necessity of moving beyond complacency. We need to shift towards proactive adaptive security thinking specifically for AI.
Absolutely. And that leaves us with a pretty provocative question, one that comes directly from our sources, for you to really consider. Is your company really ready for this? Or are you essentially gambling your future on a technology you don't fully understand? Because the warning is stark. If you're not careful, the AI won't just fail you, it might ruin you.
Powerful words. Definitely something to ponder as you think about what AI truly means for your own organizations or just your understanding of its profound and sometimes perilous impact.